there, folks. Welcome back to Saturday Fright Theater. I'm your host, Erik William, and we have got a very fantastic guest with me tonight. Lonnie, thank you so much for joining us on the show here tonight. I tell you what, I've had the pleasure of working with this gentleman right here, and crazy man doesn't say enough about it. But for the folks that weren't lucky enough to be here this weekend, please introduce yourself. Tell them what brought you out to this amazing fest.
My name is James L. Edwards, and I am an independent film director, actor, and writer. I've been in the business for too long, since 1985. I had started acting, and then in the 90s I started selling screenplays, and now I'm directing my own films.
Right.
And I am here at Little John's Adios, Muchachos show. Essentially because I love the crowd. I want to sell stuff.
Yeah, of course. I mean, at the end of the day,
right.
But so, speaking of selling some stuff, you've got a plethora. Do you even know what a plethora is?
I'm aware of a plethora. I'm well steeped in plethora.
You have a plethora of movies here. Can you tell us a little bit about these and these fine films here?
Absolutely. My directorial debut, which was in 2020.
Okay.
Is her name was Krista, and I like to call it the most romantic necrophile film ever made. It's basically the Notebook for necrophiles.
There you go.
And we followed that up with a horror anthology along the lines of Creepshow and Tales from the Crypt called Brimstone Incorporated.
Awesome.
And our most recent one is Trivial. It's a revenge horror thriller about five strangers who are kidnapped and forced to play a online trivia game show where if they get the answers wrong, they get cut.
Oh, dude, that sounds awesome. Absolutely chills on every single one. But those, let's take it now as far as directorial debut. Mm-hmm. You said this was in 2020 now?
That was 2020, yeah.
So as far as, take us about the process. How did you get this off the ground and running, and what made you, did you write this one? Did you work with somebody on this one? Tell us a little bit about this one.
This was a screenplay that I had written, actually, I started working on shortly after I had turned 40.
Okay.
And when I turned 40, it was one of those things where I was literally at my lowest of low. Mm-hmm. You know, I was already struggling with the whole getting older thing. I was recently divorced. I had to move back in with my folks because of the divorce with my 3 kids. And I'm like, I remember waking up on my birthday and thinking, is this how it ends? Is this it?
Yeah.
You know? And I'm like, no, this can't be it. So I kind of sat down and I'm like, well, what's the worst that could happen?
Right.
And that's where this story came about. The idea of the story is, I promote it as a horror film, but honestly, it cracks me up because a lot of the people that have seen it are like, well, it's not really a horror movie. I'm like, well, then you're kind of missing the point, because the horror isn't the necrophilia. The horror is the idea of this character getting older and being afraid of being alone and what's going to happen.
That's right. Which that's horrific in itself.
Right. Exactly.
So yeah.
But yeah, I ended up initially, I had just written the screenplay and I was considering selling it, and it was a really. Because I was so close to the source material, I decided, you know what, I'm just going to hire a director for it.
Okay.
Well, we interviewed like 5 or 6 directors, and I get what they were trying to do. It makes sense, but they all wanted to put their own kind of personal stamp on it.
Which, yes. Yeah.
Right. So my producer at the time was like, well, I don't understand. Why don't you just direct it? Yeah. And I very foolishly and ignorantly said, oh, yeah, I could do that. On the plus side of that, the good news with it was I had worked on so many films at that point that I was familiar enough with the process. I think a lot of first-time directors, especially in the independent scene, I think they make the mistake of not working on films and then just immediately jumping on just because they love movies. Right. It's okay to love movies, but educate yourself.
There you go. Yeah. That's a great piece of advice out there, especially folks that you're out there thinking about, getting into the indie film business. You know what I mean? Educate yourself a little bit behind it. I mean, you can jump in with both feet, but sometimes it's just better to be a little bit prepared, I guess.
Well, and exactly. It's just one of those things where, I mean, I'll be honest with you, there's not been a single movie that I've done that I haven't learned something on.
There you go.
And to jump in just because I'm never telling somebody not to do a movie.
Right.
But again, you can't really get a feel of how to do the job
Yes.
by watching a couple of documentaries.
That's a good, yeah. You got to, like you said, you got to get in there, work with your hands, and
Right.
get to, you know, you learn something. And that's a great point about learning something, taking something away from every film that you've been on.
Right.
So it's, you know, which I've been on a film with him, and I'll tell you what, I took away that he looks great as a blonde.
I do. I'm adorable. I don't know if you do that for a fact. But
It
yeah.
is 100%. So, but tell us a little bit now. We could go down the road here. Are you working on anything currently right now that you can tell us a little bit about?
I just, I'm in the very late post-production stage of a work-for-hire project that I took on called Satan's Peak.
Okay.
And it's a horror comedy about a, I don't want to give away too much, but it's basically a very misguided police officer
Okay.
who believes his neighbors are Satan worshipers.
Ah.
So, well, I'm unfortunately, because that's a work for hire, I have no clue when that's coming out.
Okay.
I know we're just finishing up on it now. What they'll do with it after that, I have no idea. And aside from that, probably next year,
Okay.
I am going to attempt to raise funding for basically what I like to call my little weird twist on Willy Wonka. So my horror twist on Willy Wonka.
You had me at Willy Wonka. So that's fantastic, man. Well, I tell you what, I won't keep you. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you.
Before I let you go, though, how can fans out there connect with you, find you? What's on there? How can they find these fantastic films? What's out there? Social media websites? What you got?
Absolutely. You can find me on Facebook under James L. Edwards. You can find me on Instagram under Buffalora Entertainment Group.
Okay.
And the movies are, I mean, you can private message me on either of them, and I can easily sell and sign the movies for you. That's fine. I ship them out to you.
Sign.
Right. Or you could also go to makeflix.com.
Okay. Makeflix.com. Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much, man.
Thank you, man.
It's
It's great seeing you.
Pleasure. We'll let you get back to, because he's got a line, folks. I got to
It's
get
out of control. Yeah. I mean,
so we're going to let him
I'm finally going to be able to buy that Porsche I always wanted. Let's put it that way.
They're selling it at the next booth over.
There we go. Yeah.
So we'll get you back to the show, folks. We're going to get you back to the Saturday Fright Theater right here on Saturday Fright Theater, where every night's a frightful night when you're watching a movie. We'll be back soon.